Hello, everybody. So, today we're going to be talking about employee discipline. So, today we're going to be talking about the employee discipline policy at Greenville Schools in South Carolina. So, I found the Greenville Schools because my career path is to be an adaptive technology teacher. And since I'm blind, I'm going to be teaching blind people how to use assistive technology such as screen readers and magnification software and basically a lot of the things that I use. So when I did the research, I had put in that I wanted to do, I searched for adapted technology teacher and then what the employee discipline policy would be, and I currently don't have a job, so I just did some searching on the internet, and then this is what I had come up with, so I figured I would do the Greenville schools. So today we're going to be talking about the employee discipline policy. So first of all, some of the things that the employees have to follow. So employees need to set a good example for students. So anyone who works the school, the staff are expected to set a good example and show the students how they are expected to behave. So if the students see that you're showing a bad example, they're going to misbehave because you're supposed to lead by example. So if you're showing a good example for them, then they're going to take after that and they're going to be mature. They're going to behave appropriately. So you have to show good examples for employees. It's very important, and this is one of the policies at Greenville schools, but this should go for any job. And also, the staff are being monitored by students and parents. Well, students are observing the staff's behavior. They're, like I had discussed before, the students are taking after the staff's behavior. So this kind of ties in with showing an example. So if the students see that the staff is behaving appropriately, then they're going to behave the same way. So the students are observing how you behave, and so are the parents. The parents and anyone else, they're observing how the student is behaving or how the staff is behaving. So it's very important that staff behaves professional. So if a staff member behaves unprofessionally on the job, it's going to affect their work performance in a negative way. And we certainly don't want that. So also, staff are not permitted to use social media. They're not permitted to go using their personal electronics, such as their smartphones or tablets or whatever they have, to go on social media or to do anything personal, because it takes away from their work performance. Also, staff needs to behave, they need to act professional. They need to behave professional inside and outside of the school environment when dealing with the students. So this is very important, that they need to have a good relationship with the students and they need to behave professional, because it's very important to behave this way when on the job. So also, staff is not permitted to have any sexual contact with the students, and this is physically or even virtually, like through verbal communication or electronic communication, such as email or social media or instant messaging or any form of communication. It is not permitted at all. Also, employees are not permitted to smoke or use profanity or be under the influence of drugs or alcohol. So all of this is not allowed, especially with working with students, working with minors. This is a big problem. This is something that we certainly don't want. So any violation of these policies will result in either a leave with pay, an investigation, or possible termination, or maybe even arrest, depending on what happens and if the employer breaks the law, and it depends on what they did. So the school board, the district, will get law agencies involved if an employer breaks the law. So we want to make sure that we certainly don't do that. Also, if an employer violates one of these policies, we would have to get the attention of the school board, and they would face disciplinary actions through either state policies or federal law or board policies, depending on the action. So maybe something such as going on social media with electronics, that would result in a warning. Maybe the employer, they would get called in for a warning, and then if it persists, then we would have to get the board involved, and the board would have to talk to them about it, and we would have to maybe have them go on a leave, and then if it continued, the employer would be terminated. And then for something more serious, such as sexual contact, or maybe having been under the influence of drugs and alcohol, then there would have to be investigation. It would have to be investigated, and there would have to be proof, and then that would be a mess. So depending on the offense, the thing is the discipline, the consequence might not be as severe. So like we had talked about before, the like things like going on Facebook with smartphones, that's just going to be maybe a warning. And then for something like profanity or drugs or something, there's going to be no warning. They're just going to be either terminated right away or an investigation. And as far as arrest, it would have to be very serious, the offense. So maybe something like if the employer was maybe doing drugs and alcohol, and there was proof and it was positive, then there would be arrest. And it's very important that the employer notifies their supervisor if they've been arrested, just so that they're aware of what's going on. So the reference that I use, it's kind of long, so I will definitely leave it in the description box down below for anyone who wants to check out the website I visited. But it starts with board docs/Greenville, and it's very long, so I'm going to leave it in the description down below. And I hope everybody enjoyed this presentation, and thank you all very much for listening, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.